It's not very often that both Real Madrid and Barcelona lose on the same day, but that's exactly what happened on Saturday. Real Madrid at home against Cadiz, Cadiz winning 1-0. Meanwhile, Getafe with a 1-0 victory at home against Barcelona. Ali Moreno is with us. Ali, should we start with which was the worst performance? I think that seems a good way to start this.
Sure. And if that's the case, then we'll go with Real Madrid. I thought that Real Madrid at home was as disappointing a performance as I can remember from Real Madrid. And not only the players on the field, but I think also the admission of guilt and an admission of mistake by Zinedine Zidane. When you make 4 substitutions at halftime, I do believe that's essentially saying, my bad, I got this selection all sorts of wrong. You're subbing out essentially just about half of your team. Now, one of those may have been because of injury to Sergio Ramos. The other 3, well, players simply not playing at a high level. It really is that simple. So you make those changes looking for some sort of reaction, looking for an improvement to your game, because Cádiz, and this is no exaggeration, please, this is no exaggeration. I know we're prone to hyperbole on this show at times. This is not it. Within 15 minutes of the first half, Cádiz had at least 4 quality chances, besides scoring the goal on the 16th minute. And so therefore, if it hadn't been because Negredo missed a couple, Lozano missed a couple, this game should have been 3-4-0, and clearly so by halftime. Real Madrid look not only average, they look like an average team trending towards poor. And there was a little bit improvement, marginal improvement in the second half, but not enough. And Cádiz, in the end, they get 3 points that they fully deserve.
Real Madrid first half looked old, Ali. They look old and not up for it.
Yeah, and really lacking any sort of emotion, of energy or reaction. You may think, okay, if you didn't know these teams and you just show up and you're watching the game, you may have thought that the team in yellow, Cádiz, was Real Madrid, playing at home, creating chances with all sorts of combinations, long balls over the top, combinations underneath, people getting in behind, showing to the ball, and the other team just reacting late to everything. You may have thought that Cádiz was Real Madrid. No, that wasn't the case. That was not the case. Cádiz was, honestly, in the first 20 minutes of the game, it was like men against boys. And I thought to myself, well, what is this? Where did this come from? Real Madrid and their lack of organization and the lack of reaction, because once you give up 1 or 2 chances early on in the game, you may have thought, you know what? Okay, all right, no, we may have underestimated this team. Now it's time to play. There wasn't any of that. There was none of that from Real Madrid. Maybe after halftime, as I said, marginally better, but that was about it. Nothing from Real Madrid that you can hang on to and say, you know what? This is going to be a good team. They were lacking in all sorts of creativity up top. They were defending very poorly out of the midfield, defending very poorly out of 1v1 situations in the back line, all sorts of time and space for Lozano to run in behind and Sergio Ramos just looking at him. Sergio Ramos, incidentally, should have been thrown out of this game 25, 30 minutes in. To me, everything about this performance is one of those, if you're Zinedine Zidane, Real Madrid, you just go, what in the world was that?
Meanwhile, the only one bright thing for Real Madrid is Barcelona losing, and they were a little bit the other way round. First half, they were okay. You expected them to kick on in the second half. They didn't. They just went whoom, downhill quick.
And I think the clear message that we saw from Barcelona today is how fragile this team is mentally at this point, where things were going well in the first half. And we are, okay, it's difficult to play against Getafe because they make it into a physical battle and everything is about a 50-50 challenge, but we're going to play through them. And eventually we're going to break through. And there's a nice little ball that Pedri plays to Griezmann in the first half, about 30 minutes in, where Griezmann should have scored. Which, by the way, if you're Antoine Griezmann, have you spent the week talking about how great it is to play in your position, and Didier Deschamps does that for you for France, and after you score a goal against Croatia, you're all full of confidence, so much so that you're running your mouth, well, you better put away the chances that are in front of you. He did not. Getafe stayed alive in the game. Came second half, and Getafe scores that penalty kick. And Barcelona were just kind of like, well, that's it. We got nothing. There's not much that we can provide now. And, Getafe is just going to kick us around all over the field, and we're not going to react. We have nothing for you. Psychologically, mentally, this team just kind of checked out. and it didn't really feel like this team was ever going to come back in this game. There was some desperation attempts in the last few minutes of the game, and that's it. Lionel Messi, very quiet. Antoine Griezmann, well, as we have come to expect nowadays for Barcelona, unimpactful and underwhelming in his performances. Dembélé was horrendous throughout the first half and the early part of the second half. He gets taken off. Ansu Fati comes on a little bit more active, but not enough. And then you start thinking, okay, where are the changes going to come? Where's the change of energy going to come from? And you're thinking maybe a guy like Ricky Puig can provide that for you, but not when you put him in the 87th minute. No. And so at that point, it was a little too late for everybody. And Barcelona, in the end, a 1-0 defeat that is disappointing on two levels. Not only are you giving away 3 points, but also the fact that Real Madrid lost and you missed out on an opportunity. But I think even deeper is the fact that you did not show any sort of fight, any sort of reaction, any sort of, you know what, we are Barcelona. We show that competitive pride and we go to Getafe and we match that intensity and we try to get back in this game. There was none of that from Barcelona.
Ali Moreno, as always, thank you very much. Next weekend, let's not forget, it's the first Clásico of the season, Barca against Real Madrid, and it's Real Madrid who remain top of the table despite that defeat. Up there in second and third, Getafe and Cadiz.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.